to the rap lab. Welcome to the rap lab. Welcome to the rap lab.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another special video edition of the Rap Lab podcast. It's your boy, the ALFRE to the D.
It's the one and only, the only one, the Rap Barber MC.
Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what I do. Always keeping it true. It's the Q.
And y'all know who I be, the one and only T.O. Y'all know the question that still remains to this day. What's the dealio?
And ladies and gentlemen, if you can see on the bottom of the screen, we got a very special guest in the building. New Orleans, Louisiana's own Alfred Banks. Welcome to the Rap Lab, my friend.
D, thank you for having me, guys.
Absolutely, and it's a great pleasure to speak to you. We've been listening to your music for like the last month, ever since we found out you was coming on the show. And I gotta say, man, I'm a real big fan, real big fan.
I appreciate that, man. That's love. Thank you.
Absolutely. So we get right into it. So in doing my homework on you, I read that you had a full scholarship to Loyola University, but you left college to choose music. Like what made you give up academics to go the music route? Was it the music, or was it something else that led you to leave college behind?
Oh, it was something else like a mug. Actually, I was homeless. I want to make sure that that's kind of known. I'm very happy with the way my life went, but I was homeless, so it was a choice between being homeless and getting my degree, but not having anywhere to stay when I did it, or dropping out, getting a job, and go and get a house, stacking up to get a house, and I chose the latter. And then I was always just doing music. I was always pursuing it. So I didn't leave music. I didn't leave school for music. I left school because I couldn't afford to be there anymore. But I did have a full ride. I'm the first guy to go to college on my mama's side of the family. I was pretty intense. And I remember they said you're supposed to apply for 4 different colleges, one dream, one really good one realistic one, and one in case the other 3 don't work out. And I only applied to one college, and I got in, which was crazy.
Okay.
And I missed college. It was a great time. I learned a lot about myself. But yeah, I had to dip set and go do music, man, for sure.
Gotcha.
That's what's up, man. So I read that you had taken a little hiatus of doing music. You took 3 months off, due to the coronavirus and everything. How alleviating was that for you to take a break from writing? And how did it feel to jump back into it?
Well, I was going through a lot in life. I had a 7-year relationship. The week that COVID shut everything down, me and her broke up. I lost my day job, and I lost 70 shows, 60, 70 shows. So I was just depressed, right? 2 of the ways I make money from my day job and music, I was like, what the hell's going on? I didn't have any way to make money at that point. I was just so in touring mode at that point, leading into 2020 that, I was just like, that's what I was going to do. I had so many things coming up. So I just needed to take a break just to kind of get my life together, and kind of pivot and figure out how I was going to make ends meet, to be completely honest.
Gotcha.
And I had no interest in writing just because it's like, God, I don't care. I just want to be able to eat food and stuff. You know what I mean? So I had to figure all that out. And I did this feature. Shout out to my man Pell. He has a project called Global Warming, and a group of guys and gals called Global Warming. And he was working on a project, and he hit me up. Like, yo, man, I want you on this song. And I didn't really want to do it, but that was present Alfred looking out for future Alfred. I'm glad I did.
Smart.
That was the first verse I did during that really cloudy point in my life. And I did it, and it kind of eased me into writing more. And then I was on Instagram. My man Cedric Avenue out of Denver, he was playing some beats on the gram, and I was like, yo, these beats is crazy. It was one beat I heard. I was like, yo, that joint is fire. Who did that? He's like, I did, because he's a rapper, but he now makes beats. And I was like, oh, swag for sure. So can I rhyme to it? He was like, yeah. And I wrote to it. I sent him a voice memo that night. He was like, man, that joint fire. Recorded it the next day, sent it over to him. I was like, yo, send me some more. He sent me like 2. I knocked those out. Send me like 2 more. He sent me more. We might well just do an EP, and then we put the project out. And that project is one guy standing by himself. And that wasn't even supposed to be the project we put out. I just did that because I just kind of needed to get that out, you know. But I'm glad it came out for sure.
Dope.
One thing I like about your style and your technique is different from the Cash Moneys and the No Limit approach. Did you make that decision to go a different route from the beginning when you started rapping?
Nah, I ain't really had that in mind. I just always have done what was like kind of close to my heart, like what's genuine to me. Just the way I dress, the way I go about handling business, the way I, rock a show, the way I create in general. I just do what I like and what I think is cool. Other people's perception of things or the way people see things or hear things or expect makes me never mind, because like at the end I just truly believe in, when I'm an old guy and I'm old and gray, and if I'm lucky enough to have kids and they have kids, I just kind of want them to be able to look back at grandpa's, great grandpa's situation and say, oh man, that dude did him throughout the whole thing. And that's just very important to me. Cash Money, No Limit, those guys, they influenced me. Shouts to my man Mac. He's a close friend now, so that's really cool. So glad he's home. And obviously Cash Money and the impact that they've had on just everything. Those guys do influence me for the sake of like hustle and grind. But when it comes to music, I just kind of pull from within. Especially nowadays, being 30 years old now, I kind of just pull from within. I don't necessarily look for outside kind of influences. So I just kind of create in my own world, and whatever that may sound like is how that comes out.
Yes, indeed. Shout out to Mac, and staying true to yourself. I respect that. That's dope.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
You said that you made an album that you just said it was just to get out there, but it's actually made a bit of a wave. But the interesting title, you call it One Guy Standing by Himself. Like, what made you get that title for your album?
So originally, I was actually moving backwards. So like, I'm in this group called Sass Kicks Ass, and in that group, I was pitching to Albert, who just texted me, by the way. I was pitching to Albert. I was like, yo, our next project should be called Two Guys Standing Next to Each Other, just because I thought that was hilarious. And he was like, no. And I was like, damn. So I was like, all right, well, I can't use that name. All right, well, I'm going to just go One Guy Standing by Himself, because I thought it was funny. Like, it was funny when I thought of it. But as kind of time went on, where I was at mentally and all these things, I was like, the title kind of takes on more of a thing than I originally thought. I had no intention on it being such a serious kind of deal, even with what was going on with COVID and stuff. I just thought it was hilarious. But then, like, when you think about it, obviously my relationship ending, my job closing, all these shows. I have a manager, I have a publicist, I have, an assistant, I got a DJ, I got all these people that are part of my squad. But at the end of the day, I had to go through COVID by myself, one guy standing by himself kind of deal. I had to deal with it all on my own. And for the first time in my life, I was alone, like really alone, you know what I mean? And just kind of embracing that energy and coming out the other side of it. I was very proud of myself. So I'm glad I named it One Guy Standing by Himself. Kind of like a triumphant kind of deal, you know what I mean? And again, not to toot my own horn, but I just went through a lot during 2020, and I'm proud of myself for being able to come out of that. So I think the name is like befitting of the situation and the music for sure.
Right. And I just want to, I just want to rewind the clock all the way back for a second. What is your origins with music? Like, what made you decide to pick up a pen or want to go in a studio one day?
My first was my oldest brother, Alfred Banks. May he rest in peace. He was the first guy I ever saw rap. And then my middle brother James, he's an incredible freestyler. Landis was the writer, James was a freestyler. And so when I saw Landis, he had like garnered a little bit of a buzz here in New Orleans. He was signed to a record label, and it was a subsidiary of No Limit. And so, you know, No Limit was trying to like kind of coax my brother on, and whatever happened. He wasn't able to do it, but he was the first guy I saw really do it. And that first time I ever got in the studio, I was like 6. I don't remember all the details, but I remember being very scared to get in the booth. He wanted me to sing, because I was a singer before I was a rapper by any means, and so I just wanted to impress my brothers. So I started stealing their raps and like rewording it, right? And I would like try to rap it back to him, and if he didn't recognize his own rap, then like I was like, yeah, I did it, type of. So that's kind of where I started rhyming, and I remember basketball kind of took over. I wanted to be a wrestler, a WWE wrestler at one point. I wanted to rap. I wanted to play basketball. But when those things kind of went to the wayside, I was like, man, I want to rap. I heard Food and Liquor, Lupe Fiasco, Food and Liquor, and that album changed my life. I was like, oh, there's someone that kind of thinks like I do. Okay, cool. I ain't got to rap like, yup, in my white tee, yup. And I could do something that's a little bit more, you know, in depth. And I asked my brother, I was like, yo, I ain't got no beats. He was like, man, just go listen to your favorite songs, rap over those beats, and battle the dude on the song. That's how you'll be able to write raps. And so that's kind of how I got into battling. You know what I'm saying? So I would just write over the record and just rap the record, just completely ignore the person's words that they're saying or whatever. So that's kind of how I got into it. And then around, I want to say 16, I got in the studio for the first time. Me and my man Caesar went to high school, created a group. Fresher Peoples was the name of the group. And we got in the studio, recorded our first songs and stuff. It was on MySpace. And I think I'm going to be the last, I'm a part of the last generation of that, which is hilarious to think about. But yeah, put the records out on MySpace. It did okay for high school. People were loving it. And then I jumped out into the world. So that's kind of how I started really getting into like rap. And I started battling. I used to battle cats in high school, freestyle battle or whatever. So that's kind of how I got into it before I even knew how to write a rap.
Dope. And speaking on Lupe Fiasco, saying he's one of your influences, it must have been dope to open up for him. Are there any MCs also that inspired you or you wish to collab with?
Yeah, opening for Lupe was dope. Shout out to my man B Mike. He's a visual artist here. And he allowed me and a bunch of other young guys and gals to do that. That was amazing. Inspired me. You know, my top 5, Lupe, Fiasco, Charles Hamilton, MF Doom, Busta Rhymes, and Eminem. Those guys, top 10, like Mickey Fax, you know what I'm saying? Shouts to Mickey, that's my bro. I think Mega Ran, dude's incredible. A couple other guys, those guys inspire me to just be an incredible MC. You know, a person like Mickey Fax, he can do anything. He can rap over, you know, a techno beat. He can rhyme over some hibbity hobbity. He can write a hit record, and all those things combined. And he can rap your head off. So, you know, being surrounded by people like that, I have to rap good, or at least I have to give it a valiant effort. You know what I'm saying? So, I just, you know, I take that kind of energy. Like when I step in the, shout out to my man Mega Ran. He just dropped an album called Live 95, and it's Mega Ran, Mickey Fax, Alfred Banks, Czar, I want to say. It's not Metaphor. I'm gonna come back around to that, but it's like a group track. It's called Fab Five.
Dope.
And I was like, yo, I need to add the best verse on this record. So those kind of guys inspire me. Also, a person like Currency inspires me. You know, the work ethic to take free music and turn that into millions is an incredible situation. And other guys I would like to work with. I would love to do a song with Lupe at one point. That'd be really cool. You know, I'm only 1 degree away from him, so hopefully maybe one day we'll see. Honestly, man, not really. And I'm not saying that like I don't work with nobody. Nobody's as good as me. It's just I just get so focused on kind of what I got going on. Features kind of happen as they happen. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily make music with people in mind. I just kind of make music, and if you're in the room and it fits, we'll jump on it kind of deal. That gets me in a lot of trouble too, because people think I'm like this egotistical guy, but nah, I don't write music with features in mind. But you know, Busta Rhymes, I love to do a record with him, or let's just shoot for the stars. Eminem, like everybody in my top 5 with the exception of MF Doom, rest in peace. I love to do a song with those guys. I actually did a song with Charles. He produced a record. That was a dream come true. That's probably like
Nice.
number one on my bucket list, and I did it. So like everything else at this point is laying at. You know what I mean?
Dope.
Yes.
Awesome. Always good to aim high and definitely work with your influences.
Yeah,
This
man.
question I got for you, man, it's about a song called LSD, which is one of my
Oh
favorites.
wow,
It
that's
reminds me.
crazy.
No, you know why? Because it reminds me of what happened to me in high school. I had a pair of Air Jordans, man, and they broke into my locker and stole my joints. So it's like, oh,
Damn,
yeah.
son.
Yeah.
Damn, son.
So I mean, hearing that song, can you tell us a little bit more about that story? And in your music, like we know how big of a you're into the sneaker culture, which is awesome.
Of course, of course.
Do you have a favorite pair of Air Jordans?
I'll answer that first. My favorite pair of Air Jordans is the Jordan 8 Peapod.
Ooh,
That shoe is just crazy. It's like
nice
cobalt
choice.
blue on cobalt blue on the outside, orange guts, and just is crazy. That's my favorite Jordan. And I've been in love with sneakers since I was a kid. But that song, man, wow, no one's ever like really singled that record out. I appreciate that. It's love.
Yes, sir.
That song, like, I don't know, man. That's just my experience in high school. Like, that's why I started battle rapping, because that was my way of getting back at cats. You know, I could throw hands, but I didn't really want to fight. It was just more like, you know, I'm going to just embarrass you because you're embarrassing me. You're making fun of me. You're trying to pick on me. So I'm going to be as quick on my feet as I possibly can and make you look terrible. And so this fight that we're going to have regardless is going to be actually warranted instead of you just picking on me because you're bored. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just make you look really bad in front of this crowd of people. So, you know, whatever. So, I don't know, man. That song means a lot to me because it's literally 100% true. Like, everything in that song is 100% true. And my man who helped me out in the song, like I talk about my man who was there with me as well about the scrap, he made the beat. So it's kind of full circle to like, yeah, my man Caesar, the Beautiful album is produced by Caesar. That's my best friend. I've been knowing him since '06, before he even made beats. So like, it was full circle to make that record, and he made the beat. You know what I'm saying? And he knows it was true. And I was like, "Are you cool with me putting this out?" He's like, "Yeah, no doubt." And the best part about it, the guy who I beat up in that story, he's a failure in life.
Revenge is always sweet.
Success is the best revenge.
Talk about the revenge of the nerds and stuff, my man.
Got to, man. Got to.
Now, you mentioned your partner Albert, and y'all made up a group called Sax Kicks Avenue, which I find is an interesting name because when I first saw it, I said, Sax Kicks Avenue? And I was about to look up and I accidentally put Sax Fifth Avenue, but I know it kind of like has a play on words. How did you and Albert come together? Like, I know it said it was between 2020 or in 2020, if anything. And I know a lot of things was going on, like you mentioned with the pandemic. So a lot of things was going downhill, but then it started making a bit of a progress when you and Albert, let's just say, there's a lot of Al's in here, made up the whole Sax Kicked Avenue. And what I like about that is it's not just hip hop. I always put like a bit of a mix with the whole pop and jazz and hip hop. And I like that type of diversity when it comes to the productions and stuff. So how'd that come about?
Well, yeah, man, Sax Kicks Ave, I rock with. So what happened was in 2019, I got the tour with Tank and the Bangers Real Tough. And we're backstage hanging out, and I rock with everybody in the band for sure. But me and Albert, we just kind of did this, you know what I mean? We're both around the same age. He's a little bit younger than me. I think he's like 2 years younger than me. Dude is funny as hell, you know what I mean? And we match a lot in our sense of humor. Very dry, very sarcastic, very, you know, like the kind of jokes that like do this, you know what I mean, kind of deal. Very witty. And I vibe with that. You know, they say sarcasm is the humor of the intelligent. So anybody who could match me in that regard, I'm like, why? You a real one. And so COVID hit, and we're all sitting at our house. And my manager, Tavia, is like, hey, you know, Albert makes beats. You should, like, get in the studio with him. And to be honest, I'm not the most social guy. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to just do one record and just appease my manager, and I'm going to skedaddle. And he sent me a folder with some beats. I didn't really listen to all of them. I listened to like 3. I picked one. I wrote the record. We got in the studio. And and we were in the studio for about 8 hours, and I laughed for about 6 of them. Me and him cracked every joke you could think of. You know, you just kind of got to fill a person out, but I'd already kind of knew him because we were on tour. But man, this dude is just the bee's knees, man. I love him. Incredible guy. Him and his girl Callie are just such this. I don't know. They're just so cool. And so I was like, you know what, man, let's do some more music. So we did about 2 or 3 records more, and then we did this project together where this company hired Tank and the Bangers to make like a song. They had to coach a group of people to make a song, and Tank and the Bangers picked me and Albert. And I was like, all right, cool. I was like, man, you know what? You want to like make this a thing? He was like, yeah. And the first name of the project was, the first name of the group was Al Squared, which is like, no. That's a terrible name. And we just kind of went through the thing. And I was like, man, you like shoes. I like shoes. You like play saxophone. Why don't we just like play off of that? I was like, they got like sax fifth ass, so we could do like sax kicks ass. And he was like,
Perfect.
yeah. And I said, he plays saxophone. I like shoes, and we both live on streets. That's why we call it sax kicks ass.
Yeah, that's dope.
That's dope. Well, that explains the whole jazz influence as well as part of the whole thing.
Exactly. Dude's an incredible producer, man. Like his range is just nuts. I actually just put out a song today that he produced called Too Much. It's like my first, I guess you could say, rock song kind of deal. It's really dope, man. And the dude's range is just, he's amazing. That's all I can say. The guy's amazing.
Okay. So I want to ask you, because I listened to both The Beautiful, and then there's like my favorite project of yours, Road to a Rolex. By the way, bless my soul. When I first heard it,
This shit is crazy.
I was in the car driving, and I had like your stuff in order, I was on a road trip, and Bless My Soul came on, and when it ended, I was like, wait a minute. I gotta go back and listen to it. So I went on the screen in the car and clicked the repeat button twice so it could just keep going and going and going. I must have listened to Bless My Soul like 7 times in a row before I went to the next song.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, so no problem. So what I want to ask you is, because The Beautiful and Road to a Rolex is 2 different concepts. What changed your creative direction or your thinking in between the 2 projects?
You said Road to a Rolex and which project?
Oh, The Beautiful.
Was Beautiful to well, The Beautiful, man, I was just mourning. You know what I mean? I was mourning, and losing my brother really sucked. It was a very painful situation, and I feel like that's when I kind of came into my own. Up until that point, I rapped a lot about rapping. You know what I mean? Like I rapped about how good I rapped, and that shit gets boring after a while. And I was doing some things, but I was resting on those laurels and I wasn't expanding. And I had a conversation with my brother Marcel P. Black. We all should look up to Marcel P. Black, because if you like Dead Prez, just imagine that, but from Baton Rouge. Dude,
Okay.
All right.
But he was like, yo, dog, and he's all about social commentary. So he was like, yo, dog, like, you getting older now. You should like think more about other shit. You know what I mean? And I was like, right. And so my brother just happened to pass away. And my manager at the time was like, yo, you should like make something more in depth of a project. And so you put all those things together like the perfect storm. And I just wanted to write a record about what my brother went through and my experience in, you know, learning about like hip hop and all the different things and stuff. You're gonna see me take a trip. Excuse me.
No worries.
So that's kind of what I was doing with that. But with Road to a Rolex, I was just trying to get this money, and I feel like everybody kind of wants to get money. Everybody wants to get money. You know what I mean? So I think Road to a Rolex is a project that kind of creates that energy of being proud of the money that you want to make and wanting to expand. And you know, I've always wanted a Rolex. It's one of the things I've always wanted. And I don't want to save up to buy a watch. You know, I want to buy a watch and it doesn't hurt me none. And so it's just that kind of energy of working really hard to stack up enough money to be able to afford something like that. But it's not just the watch; it's the process of getting there, the hard work you put in, and so when you finally get to that destination or whatever that may be, you feel accomplished. So that's kind of what that project is about. And I feel like at that time, more than ever, I felt like being like an underground rapper, people kind of feel like if you talk about wanting to get money, you're like selling out. It's like I'm not even famous yet. How can I sell out? And I don't, and I don't think wanting to make money and pay rent and stuff and live a comfortable life is selling out. You know what I'm saying? So that's what Real to Rolex kind of is based in. And those beats are big, they bang hard, and I kind of wanted to get back to that sound more, but not really hibbity hobbity, but more like a nice kind of boom bappy kind of sound. That was a batch of beats that I got from Caesar. Again, Chris Caesar, my man Caesar, he produced all those records, and that dude's amazing, by the way. His ear for samples is just nuts, but I kind of wanted that kind of feel. I was like, I want the joints to bang out. I want them to hit hard, so I could spit some real like flamboyant kind of rhymes over them. That's the kind of difference between those two projects for sure.
Okay, nice.
Dope.
That's
So
good, man.
I seen that you do have a brand ambassador deal with Reebok, and you did bring up currency, and you did bring up that you do our collector of sneakers. Did you ever get a chance to get your hand on the currency Iversons from Reebok?
I did not. I actually had wild chances to get them, and I did not pull the trigger. I don't know why. And it sucks because that's one of my favorite models. The question is just ridiculous. But I did not I didn't pull the trigger because every time I walked in that store, shout out to my man Cody from Like Sushi. He had a store here in New Orleans, and he sold like sneakers, like secondhand sneakers, and he had those on the wall. But every time I walked in to get them, there was some SBs on the wall. This is about 4 years ago. This was before the SB craze that's going on right now. So I would just buy the pairs of SBs for like $60. Right. Every time I walked in, it was like a new pair of SBs. Oh, let me just get those. Boom. Let me just get those. Boom. Let me just get those. So I never pulled the trigger. And by the time I remembered to get those shoes, the store closed down. And I remember they had the little stash pocket and stuff. And I think it's a dope model, man. It's a dope shoe for sure. But I didn't have a chance to get my name on it. But my hands on it. But shouts to Reebok. They send me a bunch of stuff, and I really appreciate that. I don't have on Reeboks right now. Oh, yes, I do have on Reeboks right now.
Nice.
Hey,
What model kicks you got on right now?
That's my first time wearing these.
Oh, that's sweet.
Woo!
Yeah, man.
Those are fire.
There's a store called Buffalo Exchange. I think y'all got one. Y'all in New York, right?
Yeah, we in New York.
Oh yeah, we got a bunch of them out there.
We got
I got these for 30.
We got tons.
Oh, those are nice.
$38, man.
Yeah, I actually got 2 pairs of the currency Iversons. I got one, rock one, stock one, as we say.
You got to, man. You got to keep one on ice, man.
Yeah, definitely. Those are my favorite joints. And he's my dude.
Yeah, Spit is a dope rat. To me, I met him a couple of days ago for the first time. Ironically, as small as the city is, I never met him. I met him through Mac. And I will say it was an amazing feeling to kind of have Mac introduce me to Spitter. It's like, yo, this is crazy. What is life? But he's a really cool guy. Very rich, very, very rich guy. He's very rich. I had this little watch I had this on. This watch is like $500. He had a watch that probably cost more than the building I live in. So I was like, let me just go ahead and tuck this right quick. You know what I'm saying? Call this a day. Incredible guy, man. Good energy. Hilarious. Really dope person, man. So shout out to Spitter.
Dope.
All right, that's awesome. Now, listening to your music, I heard the name Kurt Angle, and I heard the name Owen Hart, and you mentioned earlier that you wanted to be a wrestler. Everybody here on the Rap Lab podcast, we are all wrestling fans. So we heard about your favorite MCs. Can you give us 5 of your favorite wrestlers?
For sure. Now, I may sound like a buster because I'm only going to say WWE names, but Jeff Hardy's number 1. That's just not even close. I'm going to give you top 5. I don't know in what order, but Jeff Hardy's number 1. That's not even close. Jeff Hardy, got Kurt in there. You got to get HBK in there. You got to get Eddie in there. Eddie Guerrero. Got to put Guerrero in there. I want to say JBL, but only because his clothesline from hell was just so ill. That's one of the best finishes I've ever seen. But I'm not going to put him in there. I'm going to say Jeff Hardy. I'm going to say Kurt
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
That's
Paul
a,
Paul
London.
London. Wow, that's the name that
Yeah.
has been mentioned a
Our
while.
flyer.
Paul London.
Yeah,
Paul
all
is
right.
tough, man. Paul is tough. It'd probably be between like Paul and like Billy Kidman, because that shooting star press was, when it was good, it was good. When it was bad, good lord. But when it, when it was
Concussion
good, dude
City.
was,
You're
you
right.
know what I mean? He
Yeah.
messed over Chavo, but it's a really good. I would say Paul though. Paul was really really dope. He is really really dope.
The dope list.
That's a good pick. And Paul is very underrated, so I'm very happy
Oh,
that you
yeah,
met.
Paul is nuts, man.
Yeah.
Paul was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
so crazy. That 450 is just, man,
Vicious.
dude was nuts.
Yeah. Awesome. Good
Yeah,
pick.
you speaking to my soul right now because I'm a wrestling memorabilia collector outside of hip hop. I got like wrestling figures on my wall, so
I
like,
see.
yeah, man. So,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
much.
he has a museum.
My Triple H right there.
Ah!
Hey.
Oh, degeneration next time.
much respect, bro. Much respect.
No doubt.
On the album The Beautiful, I know the first thing you talk about is the funeral of your brother, and it also helped create like your take and also help educating others on mental illness. And I see you're a big advocate on that, and that also has to be talked about a lot in these times, especially through music. Like people may say that, you know, oh, people are rich and everything because they got money, but in reality they also deal with mental health issues as well, because you know money ain't everything. But outside of that, you also have how you talked about the schizophrenia from the album as well. And again, I see you a big advocate on mental illness, so tell us something about that.
Yeah, and my brother Landis, he's the big catalyst for that. Before his passing, I'd never even heard of schizophrenia before. I'd never heard of um like actual mental health like issues, or at least being able to put a word to the symptoms, a title to the symptoms. But when in his passing, I did a lot of research to make sure my album was coming from a very accurate place or whatever. And as I'm doing the research and I'm rocking these songs and doing these shows, I was just like, man, like it's got to be more than just the album. I gotta, because what I'm finding is what he went through, millions of people go through or have gone through. And so I was like, man, I don't have the biggest platform in the world, but like I hope that the little platform I do have, I could use to some degree to help. You know what I mean? I guess it's the least I can do. So shouts to Nami. I sent the National Alliance of Mental Illness. We linked up with them and we put The Beautiful out. They helped with the press release to kind of get the word out locally and abroad, beyond to kind of spread the word about mental health. So I've spoken at different colleges and high schools and stuff like that, just to kind of like spread the word and just kind of talk about it from my angle, though, even though it's my view of it, it's a very general thing that millions and millions of people deal with. So I don't know, man. I just feel it's my duty. I'm not necessarily the mental health rapper by any means, but I am a person that throughout the rest of my life and career, I will do my due diligence to kind of spread the word about mental health and let people know it's okay to not be okay sometimes. But when you know that, what are you gonna do about it? You know what I mean? And I'm just one of those guys where without it being super like corny or weird, I just want to say something in my music. I think that's where the Lupe in me kicks in. Like, I'm a fly guy, rock kicks, you know what I'm saying? I travel, do all the cool things, got gear, but at the end of the day, like, what are we saying that's sticking to people's ribs? Because that may not be the most popular music, but that's the music that lives on forever. So that's just kind of where I'm at with it as a person. Outside of music, I would do this, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Hey man, I applaud you for that, man. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Much respect. I gotta ask, I found that you was in a Volkswagen commercial. How did that come about? I'd like to hear that story, how you hooked up with them.
Well, word up, you know what I'm saying? Niggas was like, I'm just kidding. One day, man, I put out a song called Homecoming, again produced by Caesar.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much for the first 7 years of my career, that's all I rapped over was his beats, right? To about 2018, all I rapped over was his beats, and we put out this song. Video had maybe about 1,000 views on YouTube, 1,000 plays on SoundCloud, not too crazy. And I got a phone call from my manager, and he was like, at the time, and he was like, yo, I just got an email from this company, Blue Audio, who want to use your song for a Volkswagen commercial. And I was like, oh, tight. That's pretty cool. I didn't think nothing of it, but I didn't really hear what he said. I was just like, okay, it's my first like license opportunity. Okay, cool. And so we got on a Skype, and they talked to Biz, and they said the number they were gonna lace me up with, and that it didn't land until I got off the phone. And I was like, wait, what? And I like Googled, I translated euros to US dollars, and I was like, oh snap, my life has changed, like kind of deal. And man, they were like, we don't just want your song, we want you to be in the commercial, which was just beyond words. And so they flew me out to Pamplona, Spain. My first time ever going outside the country. Little uptown kid from New Orleans. I ain't never been on a plane that long, on a flight that long, and we filmed in a Volkswagen factory in Pamplona, Spain, which was amazing. I still have the stuff in my room. I have a room of fame where I got like a lot of my posters and stuff, and filmed that, and we did about a week, and it was just amazing, man. Then the check hit, and my life was changed. I was like, oh, I had $97 in my bank account the day that shit hit my account, and then went from that to more, and I was like, oh snap, this is crazy. So, you know, it changed my whole view, and it also made me reputable. It gave me, you know, a thing that I could tell people, hey, that's the guy from the Volkswagen commercial kind of deal. It was a European campaign, so it was more overseas, obviously, than USA, but it was still amazing, epic, and I'm the only rapper from New Orleans with a Volkswagen commercial, so that's pretty cool.
Nah, my hat goes off to you, my friend. Definitely, that's cool.
That's dope. That's dope. So you got your music played during ESPN's college basketball coverage. Are you a LSU guy? And how did that come about, getting your music played during the college season?
I'm gonna keep it a whole thou wow, which I don't even watch college sports, dog. I'm keep it a buck, yeah, man. I'm who that all day, yeah, straight like that.
No doubt.
But so shouts to the Soul Rebels. They're a big band from here in New Orleans. They toured all over the world, and they had a song, and they emailed me like, hey man, we got this record, we love for you to be on. I was like, okay, cool. His beat was crazy, and so I did the song, and I didn't know it was gonna be what it was, and this is one of the reasons why I was so sad about COVID. The song comes out, I want to say late 2019, and it becomes the song for ESPN's like campaign for the college sports in 2020. We were gonna perform on television. Oh man, we were gonna be on like national television for the Sweet 16. It was gonna be so crazy. I was gonna jump on stage with them at Jazz Fest. That was my first time at Jazz Fest. They were back in Wu-Tang, so I'd have been on stage with that. It's just been stupid nuts, you know. And then COVID hit. but the song played on ESPN a gazillion times. And it's one of the biggest songs I have my name attached to. I think the song has 500,000 streams on Spotify, which is really cool. And one of the bigger checks I've ever gotten as a publishing check. That was cool. But shouts to Soul Rebels, man, for having me on that record. That's a really, really dope song. One of my more memorable, I guess, verses as it pertains to the city. People kind of know that joint. So it just felt crazy to kind of watch ESPN and hear my voice. I was like, oh, snap, this is nuts. It was an amazing feeling. So shout to them for reaching out and giving me that opportunity, man.
Nice.
Man, that is really, really cool. I got a question about Black Murakami. Is that inspired by the Japanese writer?
That's the name of the beat. So
that's
my man Caesar is a huge Murakami fan.
Okay.
I'm more of a Keith Haring guy, but he loves Murakami. That's his favorite. And so that was the name of the beat. So I just kind of kept it, and I kind of made a song around the name of it. Yeah, man, I think Tekashi is really dope. You know, his art style ain't really it's in the wave of my bag, which is like Keith with the bold lines and the bright colors, but his stuff is more kind of obviously anime inspired kind of deal.
Right.
That's not really my bag, but I think it's really dope. It looks really cool. I got a couple of Murakami pieces, like clothing wise and stuff like that. but I'm more of a Keith Haring guy. But that's the name of the record because that was the name of the actual beat he sent me, and I didn't want to rename it because I couldn't think of a name for that song. So I was like, we just gonna run with Black Murakami, and I just made a name around Murakami, the Black Murakami. If anything, it'd been called me the Black Keith Haring, but I didn't really want to do that. So yeah, that's the name of that record for that reason.
Oh man, dope song. Love that song. Because I was about to ask if you're actually into that, what books would you recommend? Because when I saw the name Murakami, I was like, whoa, that's different. So
yeah,
with what you
that
do,
beat is crazy.
yeah, no, that beat was fire. And what I love about that too is when you put that together, it makes the listeners go and research. Like, let me check that out. Let me see what that means. So that was really cool.
That's actually something that throughout my life listening to music, hip hop and beyond. I learned about Keith Haring from Mickey Fax. He has a project called Mickey Mouse.
Yes.
That he introduced me to Warhol and Keith Haring and Kenny Sharp and all these guys. I knew nothing of these people. And so that's kind of what I want to do. And just kind of taking the information I got, formulate it the way I do, and then regurgitate it out the way I comprehend it. And I think maybe I can do that for the next generation. Or maybe I can do that for some younger guys and gals who are getting into art. You know what I'm saying? Or they've never even heard of this person. Google it, and now they're in love with the person. That's what happened with Keith Haring. I looked at everyone's art, and I was like, I like Keith stuff. It's bold, it's colorful, has a lot of meaning to it. Some of the stuff is phallic. I'm not really into that, but some of the stuff is really dope. It's really fire, and I love it. And so I love his background, like what he was doing. It's his whole, view on the AIDS epidemic and things like that, and how he went out, but he went out like a G. I just thought that was dope. So, but I got all that from a hip hop song. You know what I mean? And I feel like, again, I have the biggest platform, but I do have a little bit of one, and maybe I can introduce somebody to Murakami.
Nice.
All right. I got one question. Do you own a Volkswagen?
Nah, I got a Mitsubishi.
Oh.
They gave me the equivalent of a Volkswagen, though, so.
So will you ever try to go for Mitsubishi Commercial as well? Just to
Whoever is cutting checks.
That's right.
I'll drive a stop, nigga.
Yeah.
They
Good answer.
Check. It's my favorite car on the planet.
All right, good answer.
I gotta ask you, Alfred, your latest project, One Guy Standing by Himself. This one was a good one too. Like, I like how you did the track listing, because normally people would just put intro, but you said an intro, a skit, an outro. Like, I just love how you formatted it. But talk to us about that project. Because obviously, this we're in the pandemic now. Pandemic's still not over. I know you had stopped making music when the pandemic first started. When you resumed music, particularly for this project, did you hit any roadblocks, or did it not have an effect on this project itself? Because I know it dropped back in May.
I wrote this project in a week.
Wow.
I wrote it and recorded it in a week because my studio situation is really cool. My man A. Levy with the Hut Studios here in New Orleans.
That's the
I just
Tupac.
call him, and 9 times out of 10, I'll just go in the studio. And writing for me isn't really that hard, so I just kind of wrote it. So I didn't really get any roadblocks when it comes to the creation. It was more of the back end of it, because I was like, how am I going to pay for the publicity to get this project heard? And I was like, man, I kind of fell into the way that it came out, because again, this is just going to be like a little thing I put out to get ready for the big thing I was going to put out. But this became a thing of its own. And this is the project I truly realized that I have a bit of a name and a following, because as soon as I put it out, people were hitting me up to do this. I want to shoot this video for free. I want to do this interview for this. I want to do this, and this. And I was like, oh, so I can't just put out something on the side anymore. Everything I put out is a release. Okay, word. So I didn't really come into one of the hardest things about being an independent artist is not really getting the buzz, it's maintaining it. Because we ain't got the bread like that. We don't have a machine behind us. We don't have, somebody getting us on playlists, somebody, putting us on the radio, putting us on television, promoting us all the time. So the only way I can keep things alive is if I tweet about it, or if I IG post about it, So that was the biggest thing, but I didn't want to do this project at this service. I wanted it to be heard. I want people to actually get a hold of it, And so that was the biggest roadblock that that I came into. But shouts to my publicist, Angelique Phipps, PR Amplified, man. They showed so much love. They figured it out, and we were able to do some really cool things. We debuted at number 3 on iTunes, which is crazy. The rap charts. I was on the cover of the Gambit, which is a big magazine here in New Orleans. I did a couple shows around it, kind of promoting it and stuff, kind of easing out of, COVID lockdown and stuff like that. So the project kind of, I don't know, man, it's a beautiful thing. People seem to love it. The song alone is like the standout record. Everyone loves that record. The video is pretty cool too. So I'm very, very happy with the way the album came out for sure.
Nice. Yeah, shout out to Mrs. Phipps too, man. She's been a pleasure to work with.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Lovely lady.
As I was listening to your album, I heard that you had mentioned that you was in Barbados during the early stages of the pandemic. How was that? How'd you deal with that?
Oh wait, Barbados? No. I was not. Where'd you hear that part?
I think that was the only person standing that I had heard that I'm sorry.
Barbados. Maybe I was just using that as a rhyme.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe you have one line confused. I said out in Hamburg giving bars to the people. That's a 12-hour flight. I came far for the people. Maybe that. We could just go with that. I'll say that I say that line because when the commercial came out, it did really well. We got like over 1 million streams. I'm sorry, 1 million views on like YouTube and Facebook. So I flew out to Hamburg to do the Hamburg, the Reeperbahn Festival.
Gotcha.
Out in Germany. And so that's where that line kind of comes from for sure. Because I've never been to Barbados. I would love to go to Barbados. If y'all want to pay for me to go to Barbados,
you got my vote, bro, because that's my roots right there. So definitely go.
Hey, turn up. Let's go.
For sure. Beautiful country. Shout out to everybody in Barbados. Beijing Masi.
Turn up.
I got a question about the Red or Blue Pill tour. I know we mentioned Mickey Fax. Yeah.
Okay.
We got to talk about that. I love Mickey Fax. He's one of my favorites. He's one of my favorites.
Amazing. That dude's amazing.
Yes, sir. Tell us about that tour, man. What was that like being on the road? What was that experience like?
Well, I've been able to tour with Mick about 3 times in total. Since then, the last time we toured was 2019. I toured with Mickey Fax and Mega Ran. That was a dream come true. But that first tour, the Red and Blue, wow, that's crazy. Shout out to y'all, man. Y'all doing the thing.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
That's crazy. I've never actually talked about this tour ever. So that tour was amazing because that was 2014. That's 7 years ago. I was a 23-year-old kid who was just trying to make something shape. So I wound up booking 16 shows on that tour by myself. Me and my manager at the time. But we booked that, no booking agency, no nothing like that. We just kind of did it grassroots. And I had already had a relationship with Mickey because I booked him in New Orleans. Then I booked him in New Orleans and Baton Rouge down here. And he had hosted a project that I put out as well. And so I was like, man, could you headline a tour? And I just opened for you. And so I presented him 16 cities, like, hey, would you like to headline this? And he was like, yeah. And shout out to him for taking a chance on me because, we kind of knew each other, but he didn't really know me like that. And that tour was amazing, man. Like we had some really bad nights. We also had some really good nights. You know what I mean? I remember in New York, we did a gig up there at Santos Party House. And
wow.
1,000 people came out to see Mick, which was crazy. And then we did Memphis, and it was like 7 people. We did Chicago, it was like 100 people. We did Orlando, it was like 100 people. We did Greensboro, North Carolina, it was like 7 people. New Orleans was packed because people came to see me kind of go off and do my thing. So it was ups and downs. I remember we got into it real big in Boston. That was a really bad night. Me and him almost came to blows physically, but I think that's what brothers do. You know what I'm saying? We have our frustrations about things. We talk it out. Maybe we throw hands a little bit. We just figure it out after that. But we ain't throw hands. But we just, we talked about it. And I think that's when I became a friend. And, I've met his mom. His mom's cooked for me. You know what I'm saying? His wife, Aisha, is an amazing person, incredible mother. Shout out to him for having their baby as well. My man's a father, now I'm married. So I kind of I helped Mickey a little bit get some things going, and I'm just so proud of him for going through what he went through in his career. Now he's doing this again, and it's an amazing thing. that tour was amazing, man. It exposed me. I had never been to Chicago. Half those cities I'd never been to. Fort Wayne, Indiana, Scranton, Pennsylvania, Chicago, Illinois. I'd never been to none of those places. Greensboro, North Carolina, New York, Boston, Philly. I'd never been to none of those spots. Just a Southern kid, you know what I'm saying? And he allowed me to do that. And in retrospect, I didn't really realize how many people pay to get on tours. I didn't have to pay to get on tour, you know what I mean? And I feel like I've had a good go of it because I've met beautiful people throughout this process, like Mickey Fax. So Mickey is my brother. I'm actually texting him right now.
Hey.
He's on some cool stuff. He lives in Atlanta now, so I got to go to Atlanta, and I'm going to be hanging with him for a bit. So Mickey is my bro. Love him to death, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Great guy.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Amazing guy.
I'm gonna backtrack earlier about your influence and stuff. And you hailing out from the New Orleans area, was there like any moments at one point you was like, damn, I wonder if I could one time collaborate with someone like Master P or someone with like Juvenile, Lil Wayne, because you got Cash Money, you got No Limit, and they were like the biggest draws separately out of New Orleans. So were there like any moments that you had like, I want to collaborate with them or no?
The only person that's really out of New Orleans that I truly want to collaborate with at this point is Big Frida. That's it.
Bounce legend.
Big Frida. I've toured with Frida. I just did a couple gigs in Texas with Frida. Frida brings a different type of energy. Frida's an enigma. There's nobody like her on the face of earth. Period. You know what I'm saying? And she's from the city. A legend. I watch her rock crowds of 1,000, 2,000. You know what I'm saying? Every time I tour with her, and so it's a blessing to even be in the circle with Frida. So that's really the only other. Mac. I want to collaborate with Mac. You know what I'm saying? Yes. So Mac and Frida will be the two people that I want to collaborate with right now. That Mac situation might happen soon, so tune in for that. But
yes.
Yeah, those are the only two people I really want to collaborate with outside in the city. Is Frida and Mac.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Shout outs to Mac. We had him here a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you. You've been featured in OK Player and Complex. Of course, Complex is not just hip hop. They do fashion, video games, sneakers, the whole 9 yards. And OK Player has been around for decades. How did it make you feel to be profiled and interviewed for those two legendary publications?
Man, this is a dream come true, to be honest, man. Like, cause I got all those before I had a publicist. I just had a publicist for the past year and a half, 2 years. So, Complex named me one of the top 10 rappers out of New Orleans back in 2014. You did. That was before I even had a buzz or anything. They just kind of saw what I was doing. OK Player featured me because of The Beautiful. I've just met some incredible writers and people in media throughout the years who just kind of they grab a hold to what I do because they know where I come from. I don't come from money. I don't come from, place of privilege when it comes to certain things. I just kind of rap really good. You know what I mean? That's just always been my key to success. I just rap good. And so they just take a kind of liking to that. So when, somebody like OK Player, like what? It's like one of the first major blogs ever decide to write about me. It's just an incredible feeling. That was just a game changer. It's like, damn, man, that was the first piece of press that I had that I could really run with before the Volkswagen Commercial happened. So that Complex thing, man, I'll never forget. I was in New York when I heard. I picked up my phone. My phone was like on fire, and everybody was like, "Yo, congrats to Alfred for being on the list with Complex." I was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "Oh snap!" And I just burst into tears. I was like, "Oh man, I'm on Complex, man." Wish my brother was here to see this kind of deal. And then I had a show in New York that night, and being a Southern guy, I don't say I got beef with New York. That's not true, but it'd be more of a, when I'm in your city, I have a chip on my shoulder because I'm from the South, and people still kind of think what they think. So I was like, yeah, I'm on Complex, nigga. I'm killing shit, nigga. So that was a big, beautiful thing, man. So shout out to Complex and OK Player and all the other publications that have written about me, man. I'll never get that energy, man. That was a day, man. I walked around Times Square, being one of the guys, like, yo, Complex, I'm in New York, like, yo, it was a nuts feeling, man. Sure.
Well, I could say we appreciate your talent out here on this end. So
yeah, y'all are different. Y'all
Much respect.
Dope,
Much
dope.
respect.
Always.
And my last question, being that you're a mental health ambassador, is there any words of wisdom you would like to share with anybody who may be embarrassed or shy or speaking on that?
Yeah, man, it's okay to not be okay, you know, and it's just figuring out what you're gonna do now that you understand that, you know, going to get help. Like, go get help, man. Go, you know, go get a therapist. Go get some therapy if you need that, or find somebody that you truly confide into to get those things off your chest, and then, you know, go get diagnosed if you feel something's genuinely wrong. You know, go to a doctor, go get diagnosed, so we know what we're dealing with. Because kind of that idea of just live and let go, and just like living in ignorance, that doesn't make sense. There's too many things out here for us to figure things out and figure out what we have going on. So, you know, have the due diligence to go figure it out, and no one's gonna judge you. Just because you have a diagnosis doesn't mean you have to live in it. Just understand you have it, work around it, but you don't have to be your diagnosis. You know, you just have it, and then we work through it, kind of deal. So that would be the biggest thing I tell people.
That's great advice. Awesome. That's great advice. My last question for you is, what advice would you give the underdogs out there? I read about the Underdog Central movement. So, I mean, for anybody out there that's going through things that think that they can't achieve or they can't do anything, what would you tell the underdogs out there?
Well, Underdog Central is the place where the overlooked go to hone their skills, to come back and become the admired. So it's like a mental kind of deal. You know, like the mental proverbial back cave that you go into to kind of perfect your thing. So it's that idea. Honestly, man, just be undeniably dope. That's something I got told years ago. If all else fails and you don't have anything else to rest on, just be undeniably dope. And you can make a lot of doors open with just that alone. I am a walking testament to the idea that you could be broke, you could be homeless, you know, not really have a lot going on, but if you just do what you do really well, you can make some things happen. You know, be very astute, be smart about the moves you make, always work for full progress, figure out ways to progress and to accomplish new things, tangible things that can't be taken away from you, you know, and just be undeniably dope at what you do. If you're really dope at what you do, you'll be surprised what you can do. So.
Amen to that. Yeah, man.
That's some inspirational words right there. And Alfred Banks, we thank you for taking the time out of your day to chop it up with us. Before we part ways, just gotta ask, any upcoming projects you working on, or anything new that you got underway?
Actually, man, this month October, I've dropped a new song every Sunday.
Yep, I've seen that.
So
yep.
First joint was Flaunt. Second joint was called Sunday Drive. Another one just came out today, called Too Much, featuring Weedus, Teenage Dirtbag fame. So that's amazing. So yeah, every Sunday this month I'm dropping a new record. I got one more to go after this Sunday, and I'll probably drop an album in December, another project, a 7-8 track joint. It's called Yester Month, which I'm super excited about. It's been done for about a year and a half now. I just COVID. So I'll figure that out when I can. But yeah, man, Yester Month is gonna be coming really soon. These 4 records in October, one more to go. Sass Kicks Ave, we just dropped a song called Kaleidoscope featuring Pell and Latranium. That music video, as soon as I get off of this interview, I have to watch the music video for the first time, which I'm super excited about. So we'll be dropping a new video there. New project from Sass Kicks Ave coming really soon. As soon as me and him can both sit down and actually do stuff. We're both very busy right now. But at the end of the day, man, just, you know, follow me, social media, Underdog Central, all that stuff, and, you know, buy a shirt from my website or something.
Yeah, and definitely, we usually, every time we get a guest on the show, we plug their social media, their music, and any links they got in their in our episode description. So we'll make sure to get all your stuff in there for the people to follow you, listen to you, and get your merch, man.
For sure. I appreciate y'all more than y'all know. This has been a very, very dope interview, man. Y'all actually did some gosh darn research, and that's amazing. Thank you very much for that, man.
Not a problem.
Thank you, man.
Our pleasure to have you, my man.
Thank you, my man. Thank you, Mr. Banks.
Be safe out here in the streets. Sure.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.